YouTube, I'm back. I got something crazy for you this time. It's kind of new to the channel. As you see, I've been dealing with, some car audio since this whole COVID thing flared up and we can't buy and flip cars, or, it's kind of just turned everything we were doing upside down. So we're moving forward. I always intended for my channel to be a side hustle, flipping, DIY, just kind of making money, doing things you love. And I cannot stress that enough. And one of my loves is car audio. Always loved it. I've always just, I'll get away from it for a few years and then I'll come back every single time. Just like RC cars and trucks, power or nitro RCs. I do the same thing. I'll sell everything I have and then I'll buy it again 2 or 3 years later. And that's just how I am. That last video though, I cannot believe we sold that $300 quad for $1,300. Got it here, cleaned it up, put a couple little parts on it, and actually had fun with it. The kids rode it around, sold it 20 minutes, made killer profit. So what I started doing with this COVID thing, just so if you're new to the channel and you don't have any background, I buy things, I fix them, I flip them, we make good money doing it. Usually I do cars or I play with Jeeps, stuff like that. So what we're doing here is car audio, old school car audio in particular. I love it. I haven't really gotten into the new car audio. We bought those 2 Sundowns for 50 bucks, re-glued the magnets. We sold those, made I think 150 bucks. Then we bought some Fosgate 10s and an amp for 50, put surrounds on them, sold them for 250. Bunch of stuff. You'd have to go back a couple videos, watch all that as it unfolds. But we're making good money. We're having fun. One of my newest things is I want to build a custom sub. I found a JL Audio W7 12-3 online, cheap. Needs spider and surrounds. I was like, all right, well, I found it super cheap, so I was like, yeah, I'll buy it. If I can't do it, I will do something else with it. Well, it was nasty. The motor was nasty. It needed a full rebuild, and I ain't paying for a rebuild for one of those. So what I am doing is I got a hold of EMF Audio. He has a YouTube channel, and I bought this basket. It was black, had crackle paint on it. We painted that up. I just did that the other night. Painted the motor, the bottom of it white. Did it with a rattle can, but then used automotive clear coat with my compressor. So, the clear is nice, it's hard, it's smooth. Yeah. So basically this was a 12-inch sub. Now it has a 15-inch frame on it. Ugh, it's heavier than all hell. So that's what it looks like now. I went and ordered a bunch of parts, so I got the motor. Well, I bought the sub, for what I bought it for. I can sell this basket and all that trash that's left over. But I went and bought a bunch of parts. I got these from a guy named Patrick Chandler. He's in all the car audio groups. He has a YouTube channel called Robot Underground. He's the one that actually introduced me to custom subs, putting different frames on motors, and essentially you can build whatever you want. If you can find the right size coil, you can build it. So I put a post out there. I want to build a 15-inch W7. Someone tagged his name. He shows up and he's like, here, I did this one. Sends me about 5 pictures of, W7s that he's built into different size subs and different models and just, different looks. So I told him what I was doing. He said, all right, I got this, this, and this for this much. I said, send it to me. Paid the man, and boom, it showed up today. So I've got this really big dust cap. I don't know if I'm going to use it yet. Needs to be cut down a little bit, but got this cone. Got that big wide roll. Love that. Couple spiders with terminals or leads or whatever you want to call them. Got some nice 4-gauge terminals. Best of all, got a nice coil. He sent me some decals. I was talking to him about turning that Rockford into a 15 or an 18 because it's ugly. I'll show you that in a minute. But so he sent me some Rockford decals, which is awesome. And then he sent me, JL decals because I had a specific design I'm going for. And he sent me the decal for the dust cap, which is right here. little JL. But this is his company logo. I don't know if you've seen it around. If you're anywhere from any of the car audio forums and you're watching this video, you have. He owns Robot Underground. Check that site out. Literally, I told him what I was doing, and I didn't have to tell him, all right, I need a 3-inch coil, I need 10-inch spiders, I need this stiffness. He literally said, all right, I got this, 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 and this. He already knew what it took. He's very knowledgeable, and he hooks it up, man. He's cheaper than most. I talked to a few other guys trying to buy parts and trying to buy replacement coil, because I thought if I at least get the coil for that motor, I'm unlimited. I can do whatever I want. Well, these guys, they want an arm and a leg, or they tell you, I'm not going to sell you the parts, I'll sell you a drop-in Recone kit for this much. And they try to get you for a bunch of money. But if you do your research and you start playing with this stuff, you can build these subs. I mean, it's not hard. As long as you watch a couple videos and you do your thing, you can do it. So first of all, we got our 2 spiders. I got spacer ring and clamp ring. Basically, you know, those lay on there, your coil goes in there, bam. And then here's our nice big coil, or our cone. That's gonna go in there like so. Just look at it, it looks freaking mean. And then I got this cone. He told me you'll probably have to cut it down. I don't have any in stock right now, but I kind of want a carbon fiber cone. So I might save this for something else and do something else with it, because, well, you can see I got this one going too. But right here, I've got this old JL cone. Looks like crap, voice is cracking, but you know, that is a little bit bigger than what I'm looking for. So check, there's the ugly Rockford. She's ugly, but she's a beast. Right here, I want to go somewhere in between this size and that size, a little bit bigger than this one. And then I want a little JL logo. I have the W7 badge in my clamp basket. I stashed it in there so I wouldn't lose it. So I might put that on there. And then I've got a custom decal that I'm making up for the bottom. I'm debating whether I want to go orange or just black and white. I love black and white plain, so we'll see. But first things first, I bought all these in different sets. That one needed a spider, that one needed a spider, but that one worked great. It was just a little saggy, so I replaced it anyway. He told me that one worked. I didn't test it. I drove 2 hours. I got home, and the frickin' coil was clacking in there real bad. You know, partially my fault. I should have checked it. I'm not the guy that writes back, you ripped me off, this, that. What I did is I ordered parts and I frickin' fixed it. You know, it's my fault for not checking it out. So, got them together. That one is done yesterday. This one's drying. But I also have this power here that I bought with a Punch HX2 in a box. I don't know how he was running them, different ohm loads, whatever. His thing, I wanted this one. So I bought it for $150. I got this one and that 10 for $150. I couldn't turn it down. And then I bought this Crossfire C7. I got it for 50 bucks. I'm going to try and just slide a new coil up inside that bad boy. See if I can get away with a cheap, easy fix on it. I don't know yet. But what I want to do is I want to test this speaker. I just woke up this morning. It's done. It's dry. So let's get these 2 in a box, hook them to the SoundStream. See if we can't flex something. I know these things frickin' pound. I remember them from back in the day. And then as soon as we get those hooked up, we hear them. Let's get on building this. We'll start gluing stuff together. I want to hear this W7 as a 15. I mean, there's only a few of them in the world. Not many people have built these. JL never built them. So we've got a one-off frickin' custom subwoofer. And that's what I wanted. I'm talking a lot. Let's get back to work. Let's get those in. But the biggest thing, guys, is we're playing with stuff. We're doing what we love. And I'm making money. I can sell all of this for almost twice what I have in it. You know what I mean? So it's free fun. You know, I'm getting paid to have fun. So I love it. Let's get these hooked up. Oh, while we're in here though, my son, he's 15. He bought this for 10 bucks. Said it was blown, saggy spider. Guy didn't know anything about it. figured 10 bucks, it's worth 10 bucks. You know, it's an old school L5. And got it home, hooked it up, and the coil immediately just detangled. Blew up literally 2 seconds in. So he was like, dang it, you know. But he took his own money, bought a new coil, bought a new spider. We chopped out everything we had to, slid a new coil in there, had him do it, and rebuilt this sub. Hooked it up, and this thing slams. Once again, he's got, I think it was 8 bucks for the spider and 37 for the coil. So, you know, and then this box is just an old ugly thing we had sitting in the garage that we could cut a square hole in. But for a 15-year-old to rebuild a kicker, which those things are said to be unbuildable and just people don't do it. Partially, you know, they're not worth the money to rebuild. You know, it's not lucrative. But for him, 15, a project like that, it's better than model cars. I'm proud of him. He got that thing slamming. So, he's got the seed, man. He's got the audio bug. I can't wait to see what we get from him. 4-inch voice coils. Can't even believe it. So, these are the boxes I've acquired that subs have come in. Check this one out. It's thin, but it's kind of a cool box. It's got a big round port. I blocked a hole off because I was using it to test subs that I was buying and selling. It actually frickin' slams with 112 in it, so it sounds good. And then I picked this one up, which this looks like an old school Rockford box with that square port in the center. That had 2 powers in it. It's thick, it's heavy. That one don't fit. The guy I bought that from had a Tahoe, so I'm assuming it fits in the back of a Tahoe, but it is about 5 inches too wide to fit in this. So we're gonna use the thin box with the big 10-inch port. See how that sounds with 2 in it. I know I hooked one up in this box and it frickin' slammed. So I just got them wired down to 1 ohm each. We'll plug them into there, bam, and then we'll go from there. Ready? Boom. All right, we got them in. We took them around the corner. See what they'll do. I'm gonna be honest, these things are violent. Seriously violent. Let's see if we can get it going for you. Yeah, I'd say 500 watts is all they really need. My God. All right, let's get home, Bam Bam, and build this 15.
All right.
What do you say? We go home, build this 15?
Yeah.
Can't wait to hear that. I'm happy with them. These things were frickin' beaten. My God. They're not even warm. Only giving them 500 RMS, so about half the rated power. They're doing everything I want them to. So if those two sounded like that, I cannot wait to hear this thing. I'm so happy with the way that this motor came out. Nice and white, shiny, matches the basket. So I'm gonna get this area cleaned up. Let's get started. I basically just take, you know, whatever I can find that'll fit in there. These gaps on these W7 motors are obnoxiously small. I like, you know, Sundowns have a really big gap. Fosgate Powers have a huge gap. This does not. So basically I just took an old piece of a cutting board. That's what I used for shims for the Sundown. But I just wrap tape around that bad boy. Get as much crap out of here as I can. Like, see what I'm taking out of there. Just bad. And that's like the third one I've put in there. So this may take a while. See you in a minute. So I drilled the TI frame out to match the W7 motor, and you can see got a little wonky, but I honed it out. It's good. I'm gonna get some Loctite in these and run them in. Biggest thing is, you know, obviously this thing's got to be centered. So I got my little gauge I'm going around and I'll get them all snug. And then once I know I've got it, I'll torque them down tight. Oh, it shouldn't move. I used a little bit of a bigger drill bit. Well, I'm not gonna lie. For purpose of being transparent, I drilled my first set with the right size drill bit, you can see. But they somehow didn't line up at all. I checked to see if there's, you know, the pattern's upside down or if it changes. And I don't know. Somehow, I mean, I put the baskets together, clamped them, marked the holes, drilled them, and somehow they weren't even close. So, I don't know what I messed up there. I just gave up, drilled a whole nother set of holes, and wham bam. And they're a little bit bigger. I figure if I drill them bigger, I got room to play with it. And, you know, kind of a one-shot thing. So, I'm going to do that. I'm going to go get some Loctite, get these things snug. We'll crank this down. The thing I'm most excited to see is this coil. Let's see what we got here. Nice. I feel like coils just look good these days. Nice and baked. And I was kind of worried about what coil he'd send me because that is a super small gap in there. And it's going to be tight. And this one's perfect. It's going to fit. It's exactly what I need. That's what's nice about dealing with somebody that, you know, is doing the same thing as you. Literally, you can tell him what basket you have, what motor you have. He already knows, you know, what coil you need, what spiders you need. He'll send you the best, you know, setup that goes with what you're building. So that's nice. It makes things easier for sure. Especially when you're new to it like I am. You know, this is my first time ever doing this, and I took a lot of thought in, you know, alright, TI basket, 10-inch spiders, JL coil, 3-inch, and, you know, stuff like that. Trying to get the winding right because it's a high excursion motor, so extra high windings is nice. It's going to get moving. So, let's see how this thing fits. And the only thing that makes me nervous is getting the coil, you know, the right height. Basically, find the center of the windings, figure out how thick your top plate is. Mine's a 1/2 inch, so up a quarter. Find center, go up a quarter. I mean, in your head it's like, oh, that's easy, but, you know, doing it is another thing. Second guessing yourself and all that stuff. And then got shims. He sent me shims, and I like his style. He's the same as me, you know, just basic thick paper. You got these guys spending a bunch of money on special shims and stuff like that. Me, I'm finding, when I did those sundowns, I found that this ironing or cutting board, my wife's cutting board, was perfect. The gaps were so big that I could shove one of these in there on each side and it spaced that coil perfectly. So I cut up her cutting board, you know. And then on the powers, 3 of these note cards on each side. See, I got 1 set, 2 set, 3 note cards packs. Seem to be the perfect spacing for that. And you just start shoving shit in there until you got the same amount of shit on 3 different sides, and it works, you know. At least it has for me somehow. I've done a few, you know, and it's worked. I haven't had any make noise yet. So that's cool. Coil's about ready to go in. Fine, it's 2 3/4, so I'm gonna go 1 5/8 and knock that, line that up with that there. Start tacking it to a spider, and there we go. We're off to the races. So let's get that done. Marked the coil with a little bit of paint right there. Basically, that just lines up with the top plate, like so. We go down with it. Boom. So now I slide my spider on there, glue around that. I don't know how I'm going to do it because I got a spider pack now. I've got a spider, a ring, a spider, and another ring. So, do you make a drop-in with those? I'm not too sure. I'll have to think about it, but either way, let's get this spider in here. That way, hard part's done. Then it's just gluing things. He even sent me some glue. I ain't never used no special glue before. I'm assuming it goes here, I think. So we're gonna drop a little there. A little there. A little there. And a little there. So I got 4 sides on it. Let that dry for a minute and then I'll pull it out. We'll mix up some epoxy and I'll glue this thing out. Man, I cannot wait to hook this thing up. I hope to God it works. Watch it be clinging and clacking and rattling. But we've got the coil. Make sure that's lined up. I just glued it. Yep, we got the coil lined up just right. That's it. That's the hardest part of this process, really. Until you get into soldering and doing leads. But, I mean, it's not too bad. It's a pain in the ass, but it's not bad. Alright, next morning. It was getting kind of late last night. You can see I've got both spiders on there. I've got them all epoxied out. So I got up this morning. I wanted to let that stuff dry, you know. And it dries in 5 minutes, but let it dry overnight because I'm going to be playing with it. So I came out here. I brought out the whole freaking arsenal because I suck at soldering. So I found that this thing works best. And as long as, you know, you have enough flux or whatever the hell it is on there, it goes great. I got them all soldered up. I mean, it looks good. Nice, and filled the holes. That took me a few tries. I get solder on there and then it would stay. And I'd noticed that I wanted more solder. So I'd go to solder more on to fill the hole and make sure it's a good joint, and the tab would fall off. That happened probably 7 times. But it's done. We got it. So now I'm going to run these leads. I want to get these in here. Let's see, what did he send me? I got these bad boys. He sent me little extenders. So we're going to get these in here with the extenders on and at least have them in so that we're not trying to reach around the cone once we put this thing together. These will be in here, and then I can peel back this around, throw these tabs on, and tighten that Phillips screw, which I like his little setup. It's genius. We got 4-gauge terminals. Only $8. Can't believe it. It's pretty cheap for these. Man, it's starting to come together now. Getting that cone on is not easy. That was tight, so I had to hone that out. Kind of notch for my leads. I just got a little bit of glue holding it for now. But it all seems to be going together good. So once I get this all glued up, I can actually drop it in and plug in my leads right there that we've got soldered up, and then we're hooking this bad boy up. I always wonder, you know, if you clamp this on when you glue it and you don't get it, say this side, you know, your clamps pull this foam which way, is that going to make the coil rock, you know? So I'm always paranoid about that. It's starting to look like a sub now. Look at this thing. It's going to be ridiculous. And then I want my cap to be a little bit smaller than this, because this is right there, like so. And then my W7 things in there, but I mean, that don't look bad. Maybe just a little bit smaller, I think. And then I'll have my little W7 logo on there. It's gonna look good. But it's coming together. I'm excited about it. I'm actually going to pick up, I found on Facebook Market, 6 sheets of MDF for 15 bucks a sheet. I'm gonna go buy it all, and then you're gonna have to tune in for the next video because I'm gonna have to build a box for this. I don't have a 15-inch box. I want to build something that looks cool, looks clean, that kind of goes with this sub, and make them, you know, a pair. So we'll see. I'm going to pick the wood up tonight. You'll definitely have to come back and check out the next video. We'll build a big beastly box for this thing and see what this thing will do. But I'm pretty convinced that it's gonna do work. I know that. Got some epoxy on there. I don't know anything about this whole spacer ring, clamp ring, which I forgot to put on the top. So I gotta try to get that on there. I ain't never done nothing like that, so we're figuring it out. This is more for the people that are looking to get into building their own subs. I'll show you what not to do. Don't put that all together without your rings there. And I want to glue them all at the same time, so that's why that ring's just flopping in there for now. But yeah, that's what it looks like so far. We're getting there. This thing was covered in sawdust. The motor, you know, the gap was covered in sawdust, so just getting tape in there and getting it out. But we're getting there, man. It's starting to look like a speaker. So let me keep going. Did I mention I suck at soldering? But I got it. So these are aluminum leads, and the solder wasn't sticking at all. Like, I've always soldered, you know, like these leads. You put a little bit on your gun and you touch it for a couple seconds, it flows on there, you touch it with your solder and boom. Well, these leads do not solder. And I found out by reading on Google that they are aluminum and aluminum oxidizes or whatever. You gotta clean them and this and that. So basically what I did is wound them really tight. I put solder over the windings because the solder would stick to the lead. And I mean, they're holding, and I just gooped them down in there. So I got glue sitting on them right now. I'll bury them, and then I'll go over just where those are. Make sure they never rattle or move or come apart. And then I almost forgot, I got to clean up this edge and this landing edge. So I got to do that real quick. So I got to tape this gap off, do all that. And I've realized anybody can do this. It's doing it cleanly that is, you know, the issue. Like, doing it is not bad. Like, I know what to do. But getting it done in a clean manner where the glue looks good, it's not getting everywhere, and it's just not like all over me, that's the hard part. I think that's the part you gain from doing a lot of them, you know. Your first time, it's gonna be a nightmare because you're gonna be oh shitting a lot. Like, oh, this happened, or oh dang it, and then you're cleaning up your, you know, your glue. See, I got some on the cone there, but my cap's gonna be over that, so I'm not stressing too much. And this rubber glue here that I got, I epoxied it, and then I did my leads, and then I did rubber glue over it, like this E6000 stuff, and it's gonna hold all that in good. And if I did get any up here, it'd rub right off. But yeah, I got every tool I can think of in here. I've already cleaned it for the most part, took stuff out. It is what it is. This is a learning curve. I hope to God I got good connections on those. That would suck to hook it up. I should probably hook it up and hear it and see what it does before I glue that cap on. That way, if I did have to dig those out and redo something, I could do that. I really don't wanna. I really think I got them tight though. It is what it is. I'm about to leave to go pick up the wood to build this box, so that's gonna be cool. Waiting on glue to dry is the worst part. Don't know if this is how you're supposed to do it, but to me, it just seemed a lot easier to glue them together outside of this landing versus putting glue, 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 glue all at once. So I don't know, I think that's gonna work just fine. Then I can set the whole pack down, glue it down and clamp it down. We should be all right. But I can't decide on a size because I'm not really happy with anything that I pick. This is the hardest part because it determines what your sub looks like, you know? So obviously I can't use this one. This is the old W7 cap. You can see the badge holder there. It's, the guy trashed it. It's got tape. He taped the cone on it when he shipped it to me. And that's all the residue. But yeah, I don't know. So we're letting the glue dry. I just got back, bought 7 sheets of MDF for 90 bucks off Facebook Market. So that's awesome. Hurry up and dry. Oh shoot, we officially got a drop in. Cannot wait. Now we're to the worst part. I gotta scratch up all my new paint and hope I don't get that gap dirty. I taped the living hell out of it, so we'll see what it does. Alright, I think we're ready to glue this thing. I'm not 100% positive that that gap is as clean as it needs to be. Basically this gap right here is smaller. This top plate comes over. So to get back, it goes in and down back in here. And it's, you know, it's dirty, but I can't get anything on it to clean that up. The pole's clean. I've gotten all the magnetic shards that were stuck to it. So I mean, it's not going to rub on the pole, but once it starts flexing and moving, is it going to suck that stuff off that wall and churn it up? Is what I'm kind of worried about. I don't really know. You know, you get to this point and you really want it to be right. And I think there's no way I can, unless I take this whole thing down, take that top plate off, get in there and really clean it, glue the top plate back on. You know, and that's not happening. I ain't doing that today. So I'm ready to get this thing going. Got a new tube of glue open. Let's glue this thing. Screw it. All right, it's all glued up. It doesn't look too bad. I mean, it's not professional by any means, but it's solid. It all seems like it's in there. We'll see. I glued the tops around. So here we go. All the shims feel good. There they go. We're taking them out. And I don't hear any grinding. Alright, it's time to hook this thing up. Hopefully you guys learned something, you know, during this video. It's not usually what I do, but I strongly suggest always learning other things. Learn how to fix things. I say it, you've heard me say it a million times if you're a current subscriber. The more you learn how to fix, the more money you can make. Will I get into building subs and extreme car audio and all that stuff full time? No. But you know what I do see online all the time? Is blown subs for 20 bucks. You buy a motor for 20 bucks, you can build something completely awesome, and you can sell it for a lot of money. You know what I mean? So it's just, my son bought that for 10 bucks. We bought a $37 coil for it. It works, you know. He can make 30 bucks off that. And I put it on my kids, I teach them, I try to teach everyone, you know. The more you know, the more you can fix, the more money you will make. So let's get this thing hooked up and see if it works. We're about to hook this up. Don't mind my garage. We just got a truckload of new stuff. I got so many new tools, I just don't even know where to put them yet. Check this out. I got these for 15 bucks a piece. I had to buy them all. I've got this one for my front baffle, or baffle, whatever you call it. I don't think you can have a back baffle. I don't know. Still learning all these terms, but I've got enough wood to build some boxes. We need to build a box for this thing. I haven't put a dust cap on it yet because I'm still not certain which one I want to use. But for right now, this is the most nerve-wracking part, is seeing if it's going to work, if what I did worked. So I've got my phone on, ready for a playlist. Let's keep it somewhat low. Dang it. Yeah, here we go. See if it works. Pray. Cross your fingers. Nice. So that channel works, or that voice coil. It works. Alright. Now, it's a dual 2 ohm sub, so we're going to wire positive to positive, negative to negative, give it a 1 ohm load. We should see a little more power out of it. Got those 4-gauge terminals, which makes this nice. Oh yeah, we got one side working. Now let's see what this thing does when I get this side hooked up. No mechanical cracking. Sounds good in there. Coil sounds good. I'd say we did it, guys. You'll have to come back, check for that dust cap. I'm ordering another one. I want more of a big bubble in the center. I've got some real light angled ones. I've got one inverted one, but I want it to be a nice bubble in there. And I'm trying to find carbon fiber. We'll throw the JL Audio decal down there, and I'm making up a decal for this motor. It's going to be an orange vinyl decal that goes all the way around, and I'm going to have W7 cut out of it and JL Audio on the other side. I don't know if I want to go, whoa, try to copyright me is what it's going to do. So I don't know if I'm going to go orange and white or just straight black and white. I wanted just black and white because, man, plain is better to me. It just looks better. Oh, that motor boot's nasty. But it's working, guys. It's working great. Let's try this song Bass Boost and see what it does. Yeah, it's moving. Everything's rattling in the van or the Jeep. Yep, once we put that in a box, it's gonna sound great. That being said, you're gonna have to come back, see what I sell these for. Hopefully we make a little bit of money. Got a lot of interest on them, so we'll see. But more interested in this, you got to see what we do with the dust cap and with the decals. You're gonna make that look awesome. You'll have to come back and see what we turn these into. I think we're gonna build a box for Maddox's square sub because he's happy about it, he likes it. So we'll build him a box, and then we're gonna do some sort of a custom W7 hybrid box. I don't know what yet. I'll get online and I'll start looking at some pictures. I'll know exactly what I want to build, and we'll do that. So check back in the next video, see if we've bought any more toys or cars to sell. See what we do with this sub, and above all, have a great day. Peace.